Hi boys and girls, and welcome to your vocabulary lesson for The Worst Witch based on the words that we circled for chapter 3. So this is for today, Wednesday the 10th of February. So just like we've done before, we're going to go to our next new page in our Worst Witch copy, and we're going to write some sentences based on the words that we circled last week. And then we'll be doing our new chapter tomorrow. Okay, so pencils nicely sharpened and have your rubber by your side in case you make an error. And we're going to start off neatest cursive writing. And we're going to write at the top of the page the Worst Witch vocabulary, just as we've done before. Capital T, H, E, and don't start too far over because it is quite a long title. The Worst Witch, W, O, or S, T. And you should be pretty used to this format by now, but I just said I'd better make the little lesson in case you've forgotten. The Worst Witch, W-I-T-C-H, remember the T that a lot of people forget. And then a dash, a capital V for vocabulary, V-O-C-A-B-U-L-A-R-Y. Okay, so at this point we've got quite a lot of words. Now we're up to, I think, 20 new words that we've come across, which is really good for when you're doing writing of your own. And you should try to use these sentences or these words anytime you're doing independent writing, even in sentences, for your news, or any kind of creative writing that you might like to do in your spare time. Okay, we're going to skip a line and we're going to write chapter 3 over here, just as we've done for chapter 1 and 2. C-H-A-P, chapter, T-E-R, and then a big number 3. And again, we're going to skip a line. And we're going to write the 5 words that we circled in the chapter last week. So, first word, new word that we learned was the word sneered. S-N-E-E-R-E-D, sneered. So to remember, or if you remember, the word sneered means to smile at someone in a mocking fashion. So it's not a very nice smile. It's quite a condescending smile. It's yes, in a mocking or jeering way. So Ethel was sneering at Mildred. Number 2, remember these inside the margin, is the word unbearable. U-N, the word bear is in it, like the animal, B-E-A-R, and the word able is in it, unbearable, A-B-L-E. And can you remember the meaning of unbearable? If something is unbearable, it's very difficult to tolerate, really difficult to put up with. That's what unbearable is, something that's difficult to deal with. We would call that unbearable. Number 3 is the word furious. F-U-R-I-O-U-S. Furious. F-U-R-I-O-U-S. And to be furious, a lot of you would probably know that already, is to be really angry. If someone is furious, they're very angry. Now remember neatest cursive writing, because when we go back to school I will be asking to have a look at all your copies, so I do expect the writing to be very neat, and it should be better than when I saw you last, because you've had so much practice now at home. Number 4 was the word hesitantly. Hesitantly. H-E-S-I-T-A-N-T. So hesitant is in the word hesitantly. To be hesitant about someone or about something is to be a little bit reluctant. a little bit slow. If you're doing something slowly, you're doing it hesitantly, it's usually because you're maybe a bit nervous or a bit fearful. Hesitantly. And then we're going to skip a line, and that means I have to go to a new page, but you just go to the next new line. So if you need to pause the video, that's no problem. And then we have number 5. Our last word from the chapter was the word bellowed. It's a really good word, especially if you're doing any kind of story writing, if you're describing a character that bellows, a character that's shouting in a big, deep voice, bellowed, like a giant would bellow, because they would have a big, deep voice like that. Okay, now we're going to skip a line, and I will start you off on the first one, but then you have to do the others on your own. Now, you can use my first sentence if you like, but it would be really great, obviously, if you could think of one of your own, but I'm going to do one with you. As I say, if you'd like to use it, that's no problem. Otherwise, you do your own sentence, but it's just to show you the structure. So the words were sneered, unbearable, furious, hesitantly, and bellowed. And then I'm going to go back to my first word, which is the word sneered. And the sentence I'm going to write is the mean girl sneered, because to sneer is definitely a mean thing to do. It's not a very nice way to smile at someone. Mean girl sneered at her. Remember to skip lines between your sentences or between your writing. At her classmate, which is not a nice thing to do. The mean girl sneered at her classmate. I'm not just going to end the sentence there. I could just write the mean girl sneered at her classmate, but it's not really explaining why she's sneering. So your sentence should explain why the person is sneering. So she sneered at her classmate when... This is really not nice. And she tripped so it's not nice if you're sneering at someone when they trip. There are people out there who do behave this way. She tripped and, we'll say, lost the race. So maybe the mean girl was happy because maybe the mean girl was losing the race and then her classmate tripped and then she passed her out. And she ended up winning the race, the mean girl, and the other girl might have fallen and obviously then didn't have a chance of winning. So that would be a reason for her to sneer. Okay, so that's just an example of one sentence. Other sentences, I have included examples of sentences in the activity box itself that's on Seesaw, so if you have a look through them for ideas. And remember, you can press play instructions on all the lessons that I do on Seesaw, because I always speak through every lesson. So if you want to hear me saying the sentences out loud, that's fine too. It'll give you some ideas, but you're well able to make sentences of your own. Okay, best of luck.